Oh, YouTube, what's with again? My name is Vivid, coach of the South Texas Stabilize, and this is going to be the 7th team builder in a row, which is insane. This one is late, I will admit. If you don't know why it's late, that means you missed some pretty cool VGC uploads I did over the weekend explaining why it was late. They were just kind of filler pieces, but I think they were really cool videos. It's showing off this sort of neat Porygon team, Porygon Z team that I found. So if you want to watch those, definitely go check them out. That would mean the absolute most to me. But this is the week 7 team builder, and our opponent is none other than Reversal, coach of the Furious Fishes. So a few things before we get into like the actual team we're bringing here. One, if you don't know who Reversal is, definitely go check him out. I feel like I've been kind of neglecting to say that in my videos, but I hope it just like goes without saying, like always check out the other coaches, go watch their team builders, their battles, their content in general. They're all great people. Two, massive shout outs to Audie and Duke, the people who have been helping me build for most of the season. My front office, there are other people in the front office, but these two have really crushed it the last 2 weeks. I've been busy moving, traveling, not moving per se, but like moving around from place to place. Like I've been out of state the past 2 weekends in a row. So I haven't even really been able to contribute at all, and they've just been crushing it. So massive shout outs to them for the great team building. Another thing, I know it's just a lot of announcements at the beginning of the video. If you enjoy watching me play Pokemon here on YouTube, you'll probably also enjoy watching me do it live. I know people are probably tired of hearing that exact same sentence from week to week, but it's true. The Twitch streams have been a lot of fun, and I've been super enjoying them. If you want to watch me live on Twitch, it'll be the top link in the description down below. And the final thing is, if you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. It would mean, one, the absolute most to me, and two, if you don't super enjoy my content later, you can unsubscribe. I have a lot of things in the pipeline that I'm working on that aren't just like battle content, like draft league content or like VGC uploads, but like actual planned series that I'm working on. Regardless of how busy I get, I think I can produce one of these things a week, maybe two. We'll see. Okay, so that's that. Now let's take a quick look at Reversal's team. That's the important thing to do here before we talk about mine. All right, so we're looking at Reversal's team, and Reversal has access to Gigantamax, Gengar, Clefable, Gyarados, Milotic, Liepard, Poliwrath, Exeggutor, Frostmoth, Dedenne, Grapploct, and Pichu. Now, Reversal is one of the people who I ranked very low on my initial, like, these are the sort of like implied power levels of each team tier list. If you haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. But I think Reversal has made some trades here that add a reasonable amount of power to his team. One, he still has like an overabundance of water types, Poliwrath, Gyarados, Milotic. So still like a lot of water types, but actually really strong pieces for them, you know, for them being so repetitive in typing, really strong pieces. Poliwrath is like kind of, I think, an underrated sweeper, getting access to Belly Dance. I don't think he has he does have Follow Me user. He has Clefable. So like, you know, kind of like has brought up the power level of his team substantially. The big takeaways here are he doesn't have a lot of really strong special offense. Gengar being, I think, the best example of that. Milotic kind of, but really lacks if you don't get a competitive boost. And then I think this is a new addition. The Exeggutor is, I think, particularly good, especially if you pair it with Liepard setting up Sunny Day. That's a good interaction to have. It's just Exeggutor's coverage is so poor. I tried this. I tried it. Trust me. Let's look at what we have access to and what we're bringing to sort of like counter the shenanigans here. All right, so the first Pokemon we're bringing is Amoongus. Like I said, Reversal doesn't have a ton of fantastic special offense. I think that there's an argument that we could have made this a specially defensive mushroom just because Exeggutor looks okay this week. The problem is Exeggutor, it gets like dual stab and then like normal type coverage. So it's not ever going to be fantastic enough to break something like my Duraludon down. So just having the defense investment so that we can maybe take on a +6 Poliwrath. Like if we are, I don't know, if the Poliwrath doesn't have Ice Punch, we for sure live its attacks. This way we can take a +1 max Airstream from a Gyarados and Spore it, or Energy Ball for damage, you know, things like that. I think are way more likely than just like the Exeggutor being a massive threat to our team. So we're just a max defensive mushroom boy here. Energy Ball this week because, like I said, Reversal has a lot of has a lot of water types. And On top of that, like the Sludge Bomb would be the other move here. Sludge Bomb, maybe Clear Smog. They don't get us very far. Energy Ball actually chips for reasonable amounts of damage against, like, Milotic specifically is the Pokemon I'm thinking of here. Milotic looks pretty good against our team, and it looks pretty good against the build we're bringing this week. So Energy Ball to be able to hit it looks fantastic. And then other than that, it's just sort of like standard Amoongus fare. The Duraludon this week is sort of like it's like the piece we're building around the most this week. Duraludon looks like it kills his entire team. If you look at his team, if you go back and look at his team, he doesn't have a single Pokemon that is resistant to this coverage spread, to Flash Cannon, Thunder, Dark Pulse. This specific coverage spread OHKOs a lot of his pieces, like Max Steel Spike OHKOs the Clefable, it OHKOs all of his frail Pokemon that are just neutral to it. The electric type attacks here OHKO all of his pieces except for like an invested Milotic. Dark Pulse here is really, really good. OHKO's Gengar, it OHKO's, there's another piece that I'm missing right now off the top of my head. I don't remember it. Let me go back and look. Okay, so update, the Dark Pulse coverage, OHKO's Gengar and Executor. All right, now back to business. We're max special attack modest here with Life Orb. We don't need the Assault Vest this week. We've been bringing Assault Vest like kind of a lot, but Duraludon actually can just pack a massive punch with a damage boosting item, and this is going to be, I think, a good example of that this week. Like I said, like Duraludon just kills a lot of threats outright. We also, the speed investment here might look a little strange, since you would think we would need to be sort of like timid nature to outpace things like speed invested Milotic or speed invested Gyarados, but a part of the strategy, which will be revealed later, will kind of make sense with the speed EVs here. Spoiler alert, we are EV'd to outpace every single one of his Pokemon at -1. That's probably a big giveaway, right? But yeah, Duraludon just looks insane. I think it is going to put in a lot of work this week. If you just look at the matchup, it looks nuts, right? Also, Stalwart. This week specifically, like, it's always a fantastic ability, but this week it makes it to where Clefable, Click and Follow Me is kind of like a dead click here. And then also the Pichu can't just come in and save Gyarados from a Thunder or like a Max Electric. So those are both huge in my opinion. All right, the Pangoro here is a Trick Room piece. This kind of gives away what the Reuniqueless is doing this week. But yeah, the Pangoro here is a Trick Room piece. This is sort of like an adjustment. 100% every time we lead, unless reversals, team preview looks wild, we're just leading Duraludon plus another piece, which is coming up. Yeah, so that's the game plan. We're going hyper offensive. We are trying to like bing, bang, boom, like knock out, take 2 KOs with Duraludon and then have a cleaner in the back, or even potentially have Pelipper be the cleaner, which again, well, we're getting to it. But yeah, Pangoro has really good coverage this week. The Thunder Punch could have been Bullet Punch. It could have been Gunk Shot, or it could have been Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch seems to make the most sense. It's the most universally good. Gunk Shot is so that we can actually touch the Clefable, and then Bullet Punch is if we're out of Trick Room. Bullet Punch is pretty good at, like, 1, it at least touches the Clefable, and 2, it also like kind of smashes Frostmoth. Not that I think Frostmoth is super viable this week, but he has brought it, so Thunder Punch just made the most sense universally. Pangoro has just dark fighting is really, really good coverage in general against his team. It crushes a lot of his threats, and inside Trick Room, we are crushing his threats at an alarming pace. This is the sort of like thing I've been alluding to. We're Scarf Icy Wind this week. We chose Icy Wind over Tailwind for a few reasons. One is to break potential sashes. The Gengar looks like a good sash option. The Liepard looks like a good sash option. There's, I think, one other thing that is potentially a good sash option, where if we are just trying to kill someone with Duraludon, one, we want to outpace. So this choice Scarf Pelipper outpaces his entire team with a non-boosting item, right? So like, as long as the Executor doesn't get Sun Up, as long as he's not Choice Scarf Gengar or something, we outpace the entire team. Icy Wind breaks any potential sashes. We outpace everything, and we just get a clean KO turn 1 is the game plan here. Also, Scarf Hurricane is nuts. Reversal just doesn't have fantastic resists against Hurricane. His 2 resists are Dedenne and Pichu, and then he has 4 Pokemon that Hurricane is super effective against. Everything else, it's hitting neutral, it's hitting hard. I think the combination of Pelipper and Duraludon is just a lot of offensive pressure. The one thing I will say is that Icy Wind is particularly bad against Milotic. Milotic, because if our strategy is to always Icy Wind turn 1 and try and pick up a KO, that probably doesn't work against Milotic, because Milotic is just so especially bulky that even a Max Thunder from Duraludon isn't KOing after an Icy Wind, and we're giving a competitive boost in return. So the good thing is that a lot of his Pokemon are kind of like either naturally slower than Duraludon, or they don't threaten Duraludon a lot, right? So if he leads something like Milotic Clefable or Milotic Poliwrath, we can just go for like a Hurricane into Max Thunder Blitz Blast combo. If he leads something like Milotic Gyarados, we don't necessarily super care that the Gyarados outpaces the Duraludon probably. We just go for a Hurricane into the Milotic and a Thunder Blitz Blast into the Gyarados. You know what I mean? So I think this combination is going to be really good. The Icy Wind specifically, I think, is really smart tech from Audie and Duke. Again, just breaking sashes and securing KOs makes a lot of sense this week. And then other than that, it's just the Weather Ball. A lot of people have asked me about Weather Ball. I'm going to explain it, I think, one last time here. It's basically, it's like a slightly less powerful Hydro Pump. When your opponent doesn't have fantastic weather control, it's great. Even if assuming he brings Sunny Day Liepard, it's also still fine, because one, it makes Weather Ball super effective against his Sunny Day target and Executor, and two, it's still just like 100 base power move getting weather boosted, right? So I think it's super fine either way. But yeah, just most weeks it looks Weather Ball makes a lot of sense from a damage output. We haven't brought bulky Pelipper once because it's just not a bulky Pokemon. Okay. Rapidash here just has really good coverage all around. This combination of coverage, like, he just doesn't switch into Play Rough at all. Like, his only Pokemon that switches into Play Rough, I think, is Gengar, and Gengar gets 2-hit KO'd by Choice Band Play Rough from Rapidash. Wild Charge here, just again, a million water types. I mean, 3. It's very solid coverage. And then High Horsepower rounds out the coverage so that we're hitting everything for super effective or very strong neutral fairy damage. Ally Switch is just the tech. If we need to like switch Rapidash out and then switch it back in later in the game to like do Ally Switch shenanigans. And the last Pokemon on the team here is Reuniclus. Reuniclus obviously is setting up Trick Room this week. I've alluded to that a couple times. Our Trick Room mode with Pangoro, Amoongus, and even the Duraludon set, because this Duraludon set, like the speed investment, yes, it lets us outpace every single thing when his reversal team is at -1. But outside of that, he actually finds a lot of just natural outpaces. So inside Trick Room, Duraludon actually underspeeds a reasonable amount of things too. And again, he just doesn't super threaten it from a special perspective enough that like, if we have to take a physical hit from something, we're probably fine. But yeah, so Trick Room, Focus Blast, again, it's just like, I mean, paired with a psychic coverage, Focus Blast each week is just almost always the second best coverage option. Thunder, because we're bringing rain, we again are facing a million water types. Thunder made a lot of sense here. It just lets us, we have, I think, four Pokemon on this team that just Oko Gyarados. Duraludon doing it even with Pichu in play. I think that's really big game. Duraludon doing it even with Pichu and Clefairy or Clefable in play, and I think that's really big game. Makes Gyarados really hard to like set up with, makes it really hard for him to pop up with Gyarados. Yeah, so Trick Room lets us outpace everything with Reuniclus, Pangoro, Amoongus, and probably a Duraludon. The coverage here is just best case scenarios. Like if we have to max, we can set up Psychic Terrain for the Expanding Force. It's been a little sus bringing Expanding Force without like an actual Psychic type Pokemon, or sorry, without a setter, without our Indeedee specifically. But if we ever do get up Terrain, it makes it so much better. So I think that the upside is worth the -10 power from Psychic. And then Psyshock, I think it's neither here nor there. It just kind of depends week to week on if my opponent is more specially weak or more physically defensively weak. But yeah, this is the team. Oh, I guess I should talk about the item selection real quick. Weakness policy here is easily procced by our own U-turn from Pelipper. The Reuniclus is bulky enough that we're taking any dark hits from Liepard. Maxed, we're taking a Shadow Ball from Gengar pretty easily. Like we're taking a Shadow Ball pretty easily, and we live Max Phantasm, I think, most of the time. I think it's a roll. but it lets us proc our weakness policy. The goal here obviously would be to like U-turn onto our Reuniclus with Pelipper. I don't know how often that scenario is going to come into play, but even still, he should have a reasonable amount of, outside of Gengar, he should still have a reasonable amount of Pokemon that have a coverage option for Reuniclus, and those coverage options shouldn't do a ton of damage. Like, we're obviously max special attack here, we're trying to hit as hard as possible, but if we pop a weakness policy inside Trick Room, it looks like a pretty easy win from that point. We just have to hit Focus Blast in some scenarios. So that's it. This is the team. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're super stoked that we're still doing team builders. Again, sorry these are late. I've just been traveling and reversal, and my schedules did not line up last week. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you think. I think I already said that. Subscribe if you're new here. It'd mean the absolute most to me. Don't forget, I will be streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitch. Those should be way more consistent now that I'm done traveling. The month of September is just very busy. And other than that, I think that's it. Follow me on Twitter, and then, well, you know, we'll talk over there. At me. Just tweet me things that don't make sense. It's okay. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. It means the absolute most. My name is Vivid. I'm kind of done now. Okay, bye. Oh, you made it to the end of the video. That's dope. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to see more from me and make it to the end of those videos, there will be a video here and a video here. This one is a video that I think is really good, and this is what YouTube recommends, so you should watch one of them. Okay, thanks.